What's good, YouTube? This is Kev Hick with part 2 of the questions that you need to ask a man before you catch feelings or before you allow yourself to fall in love or before you think you want to be with him. Jumping right into this because I already gave the prelude. Question number 1 on this list. Question number 4, if we're still counting from the last video, is how long does it usually take you to love a woman? How long does it usually take you to love a woman? This is a great question to ask a man. Again, because there is a real reference points. There have been real relationships. There have been real experiences that he can draw from. Some men have never loved a woman and they might tell you. And so, you know, the likelihood that he will love you is probably the same that those other women got, 0, right? But other men will tell you, well, I've fallen in love after 3 months, 2 months. You know, I could fall in love after a couple of weeks. It just depends on the person, their openness and their vulnerability to the idea of love and the emotion of it, right? To receive that emotion into themselves. They might be vulnerable, they might not be vulnerable, but there are real experiences that he can draw from. So while a lot of people try to be ambiguous in answering this question, oh, you know, it takes a while. Oh, I got trust issues. Oh, I've been through some stuff. I get it, but there's a real reference point here. What about your exes? How long did it take you to love them? How long did it take you to allow yourself to be vulnerable emotionally to them and accept love as the emotion exchanged? While men try to be ambiguous about this because they don't want to give you an expectation, there is real information here. There's real data to go on. You don't necessarily have to guess about answering this question if you're being honest with a person, but you will have to finesse her out of a specific answer if you don't plan to love her. And if you're uncomfortable discussing love with a woman, it's because you probably don't have that love to give her and you don't intend to love her. You intend to entertain yourself with her. And again, this isn't always malicious. Just because a man doesn't want what you want doesn't mean he's a terrible person, but he will be terrible for you if you don't make sure that he has and is offering what you're looking for. Some of us take 6 weeks. Some of us take 3 months. Some of us take 6 months. Some of us don't love and haven't loved yet. This is valuable information and you don't want to avoid this question. Try to make sure that you're convenient and you don't irritate him with your line of questioning. Another important fact to know here is that a lot of men don't feel like they need to answer to a woman. They don't feel like women need to ask them type of questions. A lot of times they don't like the idea of women interviewing them. If you get a man who thinks that any of these questions are interviewing him and therefore he refuses to participate, he doesn't want to be involved in it, understand that you didn't just run him off. He just got caught on his bullshit before he could give it to you. He understands that you're looking at the particulars, you're paying attention, and you're not afraid to ask him questions. Some men don't like that, but they don't not like it because they're great people or great men specifically for women, and they want to do right by women. The men who don't want to be asked questions don't know if their answers, if their genuine answers will be received with open arms, right? They're just trying to get some entertainment out of you, and they don't want to muck it up with these emotional conversations or these vulnerable conversations or these conversations that start to create expectancy in you. So when a man is completely avoidant or refuses to have this conversation because it's like an interview, trust me, he was bullshitting you. He wasn't going to do nothing with you. I've not known a man who's afraid to ask questions and represent what he stands on and what he stands for, who wasn't about to play with you. With that said, question number 5, number 2 on this list, but number 5, if you started with the first video, is how long are you willing to wait for sex for the right woman, right? How long are you willing to wait for sex for the right woman? Okay, this is an uncomfortable question for people who don't want to wait for sex at all, right? And this is generally where a guy starts talking about, we both grown, we both adults, we both done this before, blah, blah, blah. I don't think sex is a big deal. He starts to pitch his ideology around sex, which is fine. Perfect. Wonderful. You need him to be as genuine as he wants to be. But understand that the more liberal he usually is about sex, the less serious he usually is about a relationship. Some men flat out tell you they're not willing to wait. They don't think they need to wait. The other guys before them didn't wait, or, you know, whatever the hell they might say about, you know, what a woman's sexuality means to them or how entitled they are to her sexuality if they're spending time, right? Some men will give you the stupid ass answer up front. That's wonderful. That's good. You didn't lose nothing. You just gained some time back because now you don't have to waste your time dealing with them. Some guys will tell you, oh, I'll wait as long as it takes with the right woman. Well, that's cool. But are his actions in congruency with that? Do his actions parallel that? Is he putting pressure on you sexually? Is he trying to make a move on his first date? Is he trying to get into your pants or up under your shirt? How aggressive is he? Does his actions match the words he gives you about waiting? A man who's truly willing to wait isn't trying to bang you on the first date. He's really not trying to make a move. He's not trying to get in your pants, go in your drawers, go up under your shirt or anything like that. He's really just trying to get to know you, get more familiar, see if you're actually compatible, protect himself by making a wise decision in the woman he chooses. So when you ask a man, how long are you willing to wait with the right woman? There are a lot of answers you might get, many of which could be some BS. But again, you're not necessarily asking for the answer, you're asking for the observation. How comfortable is he with this question? How does he act? What is his physical response? How directed and rehearsed is his answer? Do you actually like what comes from his mouth when he talks about this? And is he willing to have this conversation? There's a lot of valuable information there, especially when you couple it with what you observe from him, what has been said to you by him, how he's come on to you, and everything else. A lot of times, by the time you've had this conversation, it's obvious that he's not willing to wait at all. So you know the answer is bullshit. You're giving yourself an opportunity to observe a man's intentions and discern whether or not he's right for you. With that said, question number 3, a little bit like question number 2, or question number 6, a little bit like question number 5, if you've watched the first video, is, would you be comfortable waiting until we love each other to have sex? Again, would you be comfortable waiting until we love each other to have sex? Now, most men aren't going to be comfortable with this. Most men don't plan to exchange love, right? So if he's not already uncomfortable enough, this one will make him uncomfortable if he's been bullshitting you, because he knows that now this is a long-term relationship with expectancy. When a man is just trying to have a good time, he doesn't want expectancy. He doesn't want to talk about love or feelings or responsibility toward one another, right? Loyalty on his behalf, not just yours. If a man tells you, yes, I would be comfortable waiting until we love each other to have sex, right? And then he's not pressuring you for sex. He's not, coming on to you pretty strong. He's not trying to go up your dress or down your pants or into your shirt or anything like that. He's really just respecting you, but also showing up. You know that there's a possibility he's here for love. You know that there's a possibility he's serious about really becoming important to you and you becoming important to him. When a man tells you he's okay waiting until you love each other to have sex, if and when that happens, he's telling you that he's pursuing a relationship. Now, if you've gotten to this question and he's giving you answers that you like, congruent with behavior that you like to the other questions before this, to the other first 5 questions, now this gives you more to observe. Because if a man is saying, I can wait until we love each other, there's a set of behaviors that go into developing that love, right? There's a certain amount of support. There's a certain amount of communication. There's a certain amount of presence that you feel when a man is choosing to love you and deciding that he wants to love you and allowing himself to catch feelings for you. Again, all observable qualities and traits, right? His comfort with this conversation is vital. How does he feel? Even speaking about love, mentioning love. Does he avoid this conversation? Does he invite it? Is he excited at the prospect of you having emotions toward him? Of this being a mutual loving relationship? If a man wants you seriously, if a man is thinking, man, I want this girl to be my woman, his genuine response should allude to him wanting those things. If a man knows he wants to be your man, he's going to be assertive about that. And so those questions are something that he's looking forward to because he wants to get past the bullshit. He wants to have the hard conversations. If a man is too hard for these conversations, if a man is too hard for or too masculine to be accosted with these conversations, then I don't believe that he wants what you want. Not in a healthy way. When a man has chosen you, he's looking forward to the day that you love him and he's allowed to love you openly without being looked down upon for it. So if he is willing to wait, not only will he say that, but he'll stand on that and he'll display it with his actions and respect for your boundaries. With that said, there are 4 more questions in this series. They will be on another video because I talked too long. Follow me at KidFig24 on Instagram. Don't forget to watch part number 3 of this. I'll get with y'all later.